So a lot of what goes wrong with this particular alt culture is that it has formed an alliance with people who are abusers and such like. So you might expect to see fantasy reflecting reality and the opportunity to vest the same reality on somebody else being taken.
Today, we're watching Judge Joe Brown says Tyler Perry is anti-masculine, tears down straight black men, and calls him poison.
Tyler Perry, how you feel about the recent lawsuit filed against him for sexual assault?
I referred to the Hollywood industry and the casting couch with the 7 B's. Remember, unbelt, drop britches, drop boxes, bend over. See, that's a reality in that trade. So with the feminist movement, everybody's concerned about the heterosexual casting couch, but not the homosexual casting couch.
Judge Joe Brown does not play, and that's why I fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? What the hell was I finna say? Bruh. No, I was gonna say this, bruh. I feel like nobody pays attention to the gay side of things, whether that's men or women. And I'm not trying to say too much because I don't want to offend anyone. You know what I'm saying? I'm a nice person. But realistically, like, people would trust a gay woman around a minor before they'll trust a straight man around a minor, and vice versa, and just stuff like that. I just find it very interesting, and there's a lot of little intricate things that I feel like nobody talks about. But anyway, let's get into Tyler Perry.
So that is a reality. You saw Ellen DeGeneres. You know, I experienced being asked to go boost her pathetic ratings and appear on her show, and watched what she did around on her set. So yeah, I can understand how that stuff comes out. And it is a reality in what's going on. And if you listen to what Tyler Perry does, he's essentially anti-masculine. He downs straight men, particularly straight black men, at every opportunity in his productions. And if you watch some of his stuff, check out some of his things. What's the one with I'm Black or something like that, where the guy is dying of some fatal disease and he runs this cosmetic firm, and his brother came up with the formula. The brother had problems with it, but the guy that made the money for the family didn't care about the fact that it was carcinogenic and would kill people. So now that guy is trying to be gay, so he gets this plain woman who was a stripper, and he starts making her friend, and he sets it up so she becomes the person that helps run the company. So Tyler Perry's favorite subject is bad-mouthing straight men.
Yeah, that is a crazy storyline, bro. And you could tell he's definitely at least giving it a chance. I haven't even watched a Tyler Perry movie since I was damn near forced to by my parents. You know what I'm saying? But damn, what is Tyler Perry on, bro?
Especially black straight men, and making them look like villains. Meanwhile, somebody gay comes in and helps out somebody that's a plain Jane girl or foolish woman, and they prosper in the end. That's what he does. So when
legitimately, but it's not just Tyler Perry, and I know this video is about him, but I'm just saying it ain't just him. I'm convinced it's an army of niggas like him. Like, I'm a straight man, so there's a whole side of media that I don't see, that you don't see, that only women see, black women. And bro, who knows what be going on in there?
Art, do you ask, does it mirror his reality? And if somebody's got a fetish style taste for something, is that what he's prone to do to take advantage of a situation? Particularly since so much of what he produces and directs has a psychological flavor of having been somebody who was in a...
It's not far-fetched. It's not. What he's saying is not far-fetched. I know some people are like, oh, here we go. You see his cowboy hat, he one of them guys. But listen, bro, I agree with this man. I really do. And I feel like it might be offensive to say that like a lot of gay people start off like that because somebody took advantage of them. That might be offensive to say because I'm sure it's not 100% the case. But it does seem to be like a large majority of people. And when a person that has been hurt and affected in that way gets into a position of power, I feel like psychology would tell you, statistics would tell you that they're going to do it to someone else if they haven't really healed from that and figured out exactly what happened to them. You know, it is a sad reality of, again, that side of life. You know what I'm saying?
So I take it you're not a big fan of Tyler Perry. How do you feel about him personally?
I think he's poisonous. The worst thing we've had happen is, I know Flip Wilson used to do it. It wasn't that it wasn't done, but he institutionalized this tranny thing with Medea. The industry pushed the hell out of that because part of their agenda was to legitimate and popularize and get accepted this transvestitism. It's a sickness, but they made it normal. And quite frankly, the character Medea in the real world would probably be somebody that would need a really serious beatdown for the things that were normalized through the presentation.
That's a good fucking point. Yo, early Medea was so crazy, bro, because it was always like suggestive and like it was always her pushing up on some dude when it's like, that's actually a man pushing up on a man. And we're all just like, ah, ha, ha. Me as a kid thinking that this is so funny. Like, oh, this old lady, which is really a middle-aged man, is trying to hit on this young guy. Ha 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 ha. This is so funny, but really, it's not appropriate. Some of the situations in those plays, no matter how you feel about it, it just wasn't appropriate in general. But let's keep going. He's bringing up great points, bro.
Think about it. Oprah too. Roger King auditioned 350 women, and he picked Oprah. What he said candidly was he wanted a poster for, quote, ugly, stay-at-home female America. And she and her girlfriend, Gail, had been doing their thing, but the truth of the matter is, every opportunity that woman got on her show that was drafted, produced, directed, and enfranchised by Roger King was anti-masculine. Now, Roger King was an interesting guy. His father invented syndication for Our Gang, you know, the Little Rascals, the Three Stooges, Laurel and Hardy, the old black and white movies, the old cartoons that were replayed on the kiddie shows. His dad set that up. Roger King was a 6'5" tackle of a football player who was a straight up man who liked his Jack Daniels. Great guy. But he inherited his father's business, which was known as King World. And he set upon expanding it, and he recruited Oprah. He recruited Dr. Phil. He was the one that picked her book club stuff. He's the one that ran her business, set up on, and then he died quickly with no prior illnesses of either a cerebral hemorrhage or a massive heart attack, depending upon who you listen to. He was very much into manhood and actually asked me to talk to his daughters about why they were having problems with men. One of his daughters had married a nice guy, and the other one, who looked like a beauty queen, who since died of breast cancer, unfortunately, was saying, Judge, how come I can't find a guy to go out with who's not like one of my friend girls with a dick? You know, and
it is an issue, bruh. There's a whole thing. There's a whole side of the internet. Look it up. It's called being like a performative male, right? Where you're like a feminine dude, but you're straight. And then even there's another side of that where there's dudes that actually like dudes, but appear straight, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I feel what the judge is saying. There needs to be clear lines and indicators, boundaries, and all these things. Young people or people that's looking for advice need to have a clear way to get it. One thing he said, I do feel like it's important for men to talk to young women and vice versa, for good women to talk to young men and teach them, hey, this is what a good woman will want. Hey, this is how this works. Hey, this is that. And have a comfortable, appropriate relationship, you know, where they can have these conversations. To me, that makes more sense than Oprah, for example, telling a straight woman how to have a husband or how to get it one. You don't know, bro. That's what it just blows my mind. But that makes what he's saying makes sense to me. Let me know what you think, you know.
You see, that was a real world consequence. So he discovered Oprah, he set her up, and then before she could get the foundation, he died. Now, if you go into OWN headquarters, you see some rather peculiar looking older women who represent the consortium that acquired the financial framework for what's OWN, and they run it. Last time I went in there, somebody was trying to sell a show. I didn't want to have anything to do with it, but I did it as a favor to some people I'd worked with. I saw two young black people in there. One was a gay guy that was outdoing Michael Jackson and tipping lightly, and the other one was some young sister with her head shaved, a plaid shirt, bib overalls, and work boots. And they were down on the first floor, and everybody above that looked like they'd wear Birkenstock sandals. And I say that because that was a gag on a game show that I was a guest on. So that was a clue to something. But anyway, that's what it is. So that's part of the industry. Stedman, that's supposed to be her boyfriend. He lives out in the pool house, okay?
Listen to me. How crazy is it that women have listened to Oprah? I know women today, straight women, that's like, I want a husband. I love niggas, but I can't live in the same house as my husband. Or I gotta sleep in separate bedrooms. What is that, bro? Any nigga that's going for that is lame as hell. I don't know, he's weak because I know he don't agree with it. It don't make sense. It truly doesn't make sense, bro. What?
Every now and then you might see Stedman at a red carpet, and what you'd see would be what we were just talking about. So anyway, it is what it is. She and Tyler Perry have done a lot to wreck what was a beautiful thing with the black movement in the end of the 1960s and early 70s. She used to work as a gopher for a woman named Nettie Stowers that had a talk TV show on WSM in Nashville. Oprah was known as Miss Bad. Bad feet, bad legs, bad body, bad complexion, bad hair, and bad attitude. She had just graduated from TSU. That was in 1973. And Roger King found her a couple of years when he auditioned 350-some women to find, as he put it, a poster child for ugly stay-at-home female America.
Okay, listen. He put it so harshly, but that man is a genius of a producer, bro. What? He didn't have to say it like that, but if your audience is, hey, nobody's making TV for the stay-at-home, middle-class black woman. We're not talking about the trophy wife. We're talking about the average. He's a genius, bro. He didn't have to say it like that, but to figure out, oh, we have to have a host that matches our audience. We have to like, maybe they have been doing that, but you know what I'm saying? Oprah, look who Oprah is, bro. You can't tell me that man didn't, he wasn't a genius, bro. Oprah big as hell.
We became friends of a sort. See, what happened is I wound up being a Viacom show along with Judge Judy. And what wound up happening is we went to Paramount Television, which was Viacom, but it was top heavy with nepotism. So to get everything efficiently, CBS got assigned my show and Judge Judy's show by Viacom, and Viacom brought in Roger King, who brought in Oprah and Dr. Phil. So he had a special CBS syndicated unit with Judge Judy, Dr. Phil, Oprah Winfrey, and Joe Brown, Judge Joe Brown. So he came to me after a few months and he said, your studio, this studio is trying to make you go away. You are their number one money maker. And do you take the stockholders? I said, I do. And that's exactly what they're telling the stockholders. I'm their number one money-making show, most profitable. And I help them stay in the black rather than the red, unlike most of the entertainment industry at the time. He said, yeah, they're trying to destroy you. He said, every time you catch up with either of them, they try to hold you back. You ever heard of that A-list, B-list, and all that other stuff? The paparazzi don't make the list. Your studios make the list. And the paparazzi and Roger King says, your studio does not have you on anybody's list, so I'm going to fix that.
Hold on, pay attention to this. So all of you people that used to want to be celebrities and famous, again, this is old school media we talking about, but it's a list. They make the stars. That's how they're able to tear people's careers down just as easy as they build them. They can have it so nobody gives a fuck about you, bro. And that's the button that they've always been able to push. That's the shit they've been holding over people's heads. It's like, look, we'll take you off the list, bro, and you could do this on your own. And that's why I love being an independent artist, an independent YouTuber. That's why I love what I do, because nobody could tell me shit except for my audience. If y'all stop listening or watching these videos or listening to the music, then y'all are my boss. You know what I'm saying?
So in a few months, I started beating Dr. Phil regularly, and in a few more months, I started beating Oprah in the ratings regularly. So for the last 5 years, I was with CBS syndication, including 2 years after Roger King died. I was either the number one or number two syndicated show in the United States for daytime syndication. And in some areas where they played me, like in the Southeast in prime time, I was number one in that. But you never heard that. All they talked about was Oprah, who was way, way below me and Judy in the ratings, and Judge Judy. And the other one that was tied with the two of us was Wheel of Fortune. So that was an old-time game show, and Judy and I, what we did is provided guidance to the American public on what was legally appropriate, and what I did was what was appropriate in a masculine fashion. Now, Judy was a little, she's 4'6", 4'7", weighs about 80 pounds, and she had her own little issues with her and her husband, Shineland, who took over from Mayor Koch, who ran People's Court after they revived it, when it had been under Judge Wapner for a long time. And there were all kinds of issues in that. And she was a nice Jewish mama figure for Hollywood, which had a very large contingent of Jewish participants, so they responded to that, and I was a threat because I wasn't going along with their rainbow thing, although they kept approaching me about doing PSAs for them. I said, hey, that ain't my problem. You know, you do that, but I'm not. When I first started, see, Oh, I can mention this to give you some idea what the flavor's about. I hadn't had my show but a month and a half, and they had a big thing at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, well, the Statler Hilton Hotel on the intersection of Santa Monica Boulevard and Wilshire. It's a nice party. I was a bachelor. I'd got this show, it was successful, and I'm looking at all these beautiful starlets, you know, so I like to dance. I'm dancing with all these gorgeous women, and I ran into one that I kind of hit it off with, so we sat down at a table and we were talking, and she got up, went to the ladies' room. She came back, says, you know that tall guy in that gray suit? I said, yeah. He said he offered me $2,000 in cash if I'd sign a note saying you tried to feel up on me. So guess who it was? It was the CEO for the Big Ticket Television, the entity that was doing my show. So she and I went around and tracked down all.
Hold on, twin. Haven't I said this in other videos? But, you know, let's say we was talking about NBA Youngboy. That's exactly who we was talking about. Didn't I say, bro, these record labels will do whatever they can to put you in a situation where they got you. Imagine that this girl had went along with what he said, and now he losing money, his show not being watched, and they tearing down his image. Bro, at that point, you at their mercy, bro. I'm just saying, I called that shit out, bro. This shit happens, bro.
All of the women I danced with, and several of them said he had offered them money, but they wouldn't take it, so we got a written statement from him. So this was November 1998. The show had started in September 1998, so they'd already tried to set up this. So I hired a beautiful black woman who had graduated from Ole Miss, and I'd been her mentor, and she incidentally became the youngest licensed lobbyist in Washington, D.C., and I hired her to be my publicist. So we set up these directors, and we created a fictional woman. And my collaborator started going around to some of the Hollywood types and telling them that this woman was complaining about me trying to make moves on her. Now, simultaneously, we were filing affidavits under seal with Human Resources for Big Ticket Television.
All right, well, check this out, man. I think that's going to do it for my video. Not that I don't want to hear his story, but I was just here for the Tyler Perry anti-masculine stuff. Shit is crazy. Like I said, I have my own personal story and experience with Tyler Perry and his media. I'm sure you do as well. So let me know what y'all think about this video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube shit, man. Peace out. Stop the video. If you would, just consider following me on Instagram and Spotify. I got a goal. I'm trying to get to 2,000 monthly listeners. And after that, I'm trying to get to 5,000 monthly listeners. Y'all have been great, man. I really appreciate y'all.